Ghosts of Tottori, Chapter 5, Wakabayashi. Morning light filtered through the paper screens, casting squares of light onto the tatami floor of the room where I lodged. Haru and I had lingered in the village longer than intended, our residence of testament to our indecision and void left by Katashi's passing. Our days were filled with quiet reflection as we grappled with the weight of our loss, contemplating the path that lay ahead. The young fisherman's rite had been meticulous. As we performed the ceremony, the fluidity of our movements were reflexive, the measured steps having been taken many times before. His spirit, once lost in turbulence, had found tranquility in the ritual. Katashi's ceremony had been different, an event steeped in profound sorrow, yet marked by a deep reverence for his place in our lives. In guiding his spirit, we did not merely perform a service, we celebrated a legacy. The song and words, usually steady and unyielding, wavered with emotion, the notes imbued with the depth of our grief. But in the end, the ceremony was also a success. Our capability, indeed, was not questioned. Our adherence to the precise choreography of the rite, the exact intonation of the ancient words, the song, the shodo, all spoke of our dedication to the role we had assumed. Yet within the hollow chambers of my heart, I knew the reverence offered to the departed was also a silent plea for guidance, for some sign of what our future held without Katashi's steadfast presence. Sitting now in the quiet room, I pondered over the path forward. Haru and I had not yet found the answers we sought, a reminder that even we searched for guidance as we must choose a new direction. The days bled into one another, each marked by the rhythm of waves and a quiet solitude of the village. My fingers traced the delicate edges of a silk fan, a silent testament to the legacy we upheld, a legacy incomplete without Katashi. Haru moved through the days with equal reverence, his every action looking to tradition for guidance as we both dwelled in the loss of our mentor. As that day unfurled, like petals wary for bloom, the skies above mirrored the turmoil within us. Clouds heavy with the promise of rain gathered with an oppressive weight that echoed in my chest. The air crackled with anticipation, the kind of tempest that had heralded our arrival to this village. It was amidst the crackling of the heavens that fate, cloaked as a traveler, threaded its way through the village outskirts. A messenger, soaked through by the first fat drops of rain, came seeking the guidance of spirits, unaware that the one he sought now resided beyond the veil. This messenger's arrival was a ripple in still water, unsettling the fragile peace we had constructed around ourselves. He stood there, an embodiment of expectation, his eyes searching for the figure of Katashi. "Katashi," I began, the honorifics absent only because thought required none, has joined the realm of spirits. His guidance we sought with every ceremony is now beyond our reach, his knowledge enshrined in memory alone. I recounted the tale of Katashi's passing, and the messenger bowed deeply, his forehead nearing the rain-soaked earth, hands pressed together in a gesture of reverence and respect, a prayer without a sound, but no less potent. In that act, he honored not just the man we had lost, but the very essence of what Katashi represented, a bridge between the seen and unseen, the guardian of balance between worlds. But time would not stop. As was inevitable, he turned his hopeful eyes upon us, the remaining guardians of the right that could bring peace to his village. We faced him and felt the weight of decision heavy upon us. In the silence, a storm broke, unleashing its fury upon the earth. Nature's own ceremony of renewal, it seemed to cleanse the path before us, washing away the lingering doubt that clung stubbornly to our resolve. There, in the maelstrom, clarity found me, and I embraced it with a certainty that surprised even my own heart. No longer would we walk the road we had journeyed upon. We would not seek to fill shoes that belonged to a spirit now at rest. Our honor in performing ceremonies was at its end, and with the storm as my witness, I let go of the mantle we could no longer bear. I stood still amidst the throng, my posture as composed as a statue. There was a palpable pause, a held breath in the rhythm of existence, where decisions forged path into the unknown. My response formed within clear and resolute, rising from the depths of an inner conviction that had solidified in the absence of our mentor. The messenger, a silhouette against the tempest's wrath, nodded with an understanding of one who has known the slow dance of time and tradition. I watched him, fighting the tide with memories that surged within me at this change in the direction of my life. The storm continued its symphony around us. We stood as sentinels to the cycle of life and death, of endings and beginnings. And in the heart of the deluge I found peace, a silent homage to a master whose teachings were not always easily discerned. This proclamation carried the weight of a legacy that could not be replicated, a lineage that ended with the last fall of Katashi's guiding hand. The triad we once formed was irrevocably altered, its harmony disrupted beyond restoration. The roles we played within it had reached their natural end. As the villagers absorbed this silent resolve, I felt the mantle of expectation lift, replaced by an understanding that some torches must extinguish, and that new flames may kindle. The spirits would be guided by fresh hands, instructed by other voices that echoed the wisdom of those who came before. And so, without fanfare or debate, the chapter closed on an era defined by 3 souls intertwined in a sacred duty now concluded. Harrow's gaze lingered on me, a silent testament to the gravity of my declaration. The weight of our shared history pressed upon us both, as palpable as the heavy air before a summer storm. In his eyes I saw the reflection of my own conviction, a deep acknowledgement that without Katashi our trinity was irrevocably broken. To continue in pretense would be akin to filling a vase with flowers long wilted, their beauty remembered but their essence gone. There was no honor in that. Fate, I mused, was a masterful storyteller whose plot twist often left its readers in contemplative silence. As I stood there, the truth of our decision unfolded within me like the delicate petals of a chrysanthemum responding to the morning sun. Another must rise to meet the calling that Katashi once answered, a new guardian of the threshold between worlds. This was a role for another soul to fill, one perhaps waiting in the wings of destiny, unknowing of the part they were meant to play. The messenger waited until the storm passed and then left us to take the news back to his village. In the quiet that followed, I felt the finality of an era's end. In relinquishing our place within the sacred performance, we honored the natural ebb and flow of life. We acknowledged that the mantle of responsibility was not ours to hold forever, but to pass along when the moment was at hand in the great ceremony of existence. 2 more days passed within the cocoon of Haizu, steeped in contemplation and farewells. When dawn unfurled its golden banner on the 3rd day, Harrow and I shouldered our modest belongings, the path away from Haizu beckoning, a road stretching into the unknown, promising new beginnings. Harrow and I traveled side by side. The gentle rhythm of our journey, a meditation on the time spent and bonds forged. We traveled together for days, but soon that would also end. In the quiet hours of the morning that arrived too swiftly, a fork in the road stood before us, an inevitable divergence. Here, under the watchful gaze of ancient trees, our paths would part. There was a sacredness in this farewell, reminiscent of ceremonies long practiced, where each motion held significance and conveyed the depths of human connection. Our gazes locked for a lingering moment, eyes reflecting a shared history, a deep love, and an unwavering friendship would that not be confined by distance or time. With no need for words, our spirits whispered promises of remembrance and honor for all we had been to one another. And then we turned away, each step on our separate paths an echo of the resolve that had crystallized in our hearts. As the distance grew between us, I carried forward the essence of what we had shared, knowing that while the threads of our journeys unraveled in different directions, the tapestry of our past world would remain forever intertwined. The morning air was crisp, carrying with it a quiet whisper of anticipation as I turned my steps towards Sendai. A delicate sheen of frost clung to the earth, glistening under a gentle kiss of the dawn's first light. My breath emerged in soft, rhythmic clouds that mingled with the chill, each step forward an imprint upon the frosted path. As the weeks and miles unfolded before me, the familiar contours of my homeland began to take shape. The undulating hills and the forests of bamboo stood as sentinels, welcoming me into their ageless embrace. Entering Sendai, the village that cradled my earliest memories, was akin to stepping into a carefully orchestrated ceremony of memory. The way the thatched roofs adorned the homes, the stone lanterns that punctuated the gardens, the laughter of children chasing one another, all contributed to a sense of welcome. There was a welcome beauty in the unchanged. The streets and corners held echoes of my past self, the one uninitiated to the spirit realms. Yet now I walked among them not as the person who had once left, but as one tempered by loss and knowledge, a vessel of experiences both harrowing and sacred. The reconnection with family and friends was joyous. Each hug, every smile was a gesture that closed the distance of time. In their eyes, I found reflections of who I had been, but also who I had become. The familiarity of their faces, the timbre of their voices, and the cadence of their movements coalesced into a soothing rhythm that affirmed my belonging. Here, in the heart of where my journey began, I found solace and the comforting assurance that some threads of life remain constant even as others unravel and weave anew. In this return, I recognized the closing of a circle, like the completion of a calligrapher's stroke. There was a precision and a finality to it, yet it also held the promise of a new beginning. This homecoming was not merely a return to a physical place, but a pilgrimage to the very essence of my being, a reaffirmation of roots and an honoring of the legacy that coursed through my veins. In the soft light of dawn, I stood at the edge of my familial village. The closing of a circle in my life had been marked by the return to my ancestral home. Yet within me stirred the beginnings of another, a new cycle beckoning with the promise of untrodden paths and undreamt aspirations. The sea called to me, an incessant whisper that grew louder with each breaking wave. It was there, among the vast expanse of water, that I felt a profound connection to Katashi's spirit. The salty breeze seemed to carry his wisdom, his essence, mingling with the mist that rose from the ocean's surface. I yearned for that closeness, the sense of unity with a friend lost to the temporal realm, but ever present in the spiritual one. The shoreline was not far. I would still be with family and friends, but closer to the fluidity of the water's edge. My feet sank into the cool sand, the grains shifting beneath my weight as if recognizing the significance of this journey. With the precision of a master craftsperson, I traced patterns along the beach, not unlike the strokes of a calligrapher's brush. Each line a silent tribute to tradition, each curve a whispered prayer. The sea stretched before me, its vastness a canvas upon which light and shadow danced. Its rhythmic pulse was a heartbeat that resonated with my own, a reminder of the ebb and flow of existence. Here, amidst the symphony of cresting waves and the chorus of seabirds, I envisioned the beginning of a new cycle, one that would be shaped by the lessons of the past and the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. The scent of ink and the soft swish of brush against paper filled the air in my new abode, a modest house nestled within the coastal district of Wakabayashi. Here, the proximity to the sea offered a silent companionship that echoed the essence of Katashi, whose spirit seemed to linger on the ocean breeze. Mornings commenced with the ritualistic grinding of sumi ink, a grounding process that prepared both the medium and the mind for the day's lessons in shodo, the way of writing. My students, a diverse collection of eager minds, gathered upon tatami mats, their brushes poised above delicate sheets of washi. The art of calligraphy, I taught them, was more than mere writing. It was a dance of discipline and expression, each character an embodiment of one's innermost thoughts made visible. Through careful instruction, I guided their hands to embrace the brush as an extension of their own spirit, instilling in them the values of precision and patience. In time, the role of itaku, the keeper of ceremonies, was bestowed upon me by the community. It was a responsibility I accepted with a blend of honor and solemnity, aware that my knowledge of the unseen realms now served a purpose greater than personal veneration. When the veil between worlds grew thin, it was I who was called upon to bring comfort and solace, and to guide the living. With each passing year, a new wave of students arrived at my doorstep, eager to delve into the mysteries of Shodo, and perhaps a few to touch upon the ephemeral realm that our dear Katashi had once traversed with such mastery. But there were some secrets that I kept. As I continued the intricate dance of Shodo, the characters taking shape under my steady hand held more than just beauty. They were imbued with the whispers of the otherworldly wisdom Katashi had once shared with me. These stories, though, had yet to be told. Though my students were honorable and their intentions pure, none possessed the ethereal connection that had made Katashi so unique. There was a depth to his understanding that defied mere instruction, a depth I feared may have vanished with him. The tradition of ghost paneling, a non-traditional practice that had been passed down through the ages, began its gradual retreat into the annals of forgotten lore. As the years unfurled like the scrolls upon which I wrote, interest waned, and the urgency that once drove our ceremonies dissipated into a silent acquiescence. But the memory of what I had been taught was never far from my thoughts. And then one day, as I watched the sunset paint the sky with hues of fading warmth, I realized I had grown old. The rituals I performed now carried a poignancy sharpened by the knowledge that soon enough I would be joining my ancestors. With each season, each stroke of the brush, the pull of the silent call of my ancestors was growing stronger, reminding me that my time to leave this mortal realm drew even closer. And it was well past the time that I expected a new journey in life, when the old circle that I thought was complete proved to be otherwise. On a night beset by storms, I could not sleep and was compelled to walk the path along the churning shore. Memories of Katashi consumed me as a light rain soaked my kimono and the wind loosened my hair from the knot that held it. I had not felt so close to my mentor in many years, and the idea that his unseen presence may still be guiding me was a comfort. When the storm grew more intense, I returned to my home, but with a resolution to a puzzle I had not expected to solve. For many years I had felt that Katashi's secrets were too dangerous to share. But now I knew that it was not my decision to make when a soul might rise to call from beyond. It was my duty and honor to write the story of ghost paneling and prevent the secrets of Katashi taught me from disappearing when I too passed beyond the veil. My hands, once steady and unyielding, now trembled slightly as they held the feud brush above the delicate expanse of washi paper. The bristles, darkened by sumi ink, hovered with a hesitant grace born of age and reverence. With each methodical stroke, I transcribed my life's accounts, the characters flowing from the brush in a dance of black upon white, a visual symphony of my journey. My memoirs would be chronicled through the disciplined movements perfected over many decades. The tales I inscribed spoke of spirits calmed and souls honored, of ceremonies conducted under the watchful eyes of deities and man alike. I recounted the lessons learned from Katashi, whose wisdom transcended the very boundaries that separate the corporal from the ethereal. As my hand moved with careful precision, I was more acutely aware of life's cyclical nature than ever before, how every ending is merely the prelude to a new beginning. The art of ghost paneling, once vibrant and essential, now faded into the annals of time, its whispers growing fainter with each generation. Yet within these recorded memories there is the promise that one day another Katashi will emerge. In the quietude there was no audience to witness the finality of my task. No spoken words disrupt the sacred act of remembrance. Only the soft scratch of the brush against paper testifies to the existence of these stories, my blessing etched into the fabric of time itself. And with the completion of the last character, I set the brush down, my role fulfilled in the chronicle of life, a testament to all that was and all that may be yet to be. My fingers traced the drying ink, feeling the weight of years and the gentle caress of impending farewells. As the ink settled, so too did my heart. These are my memoirs, my gift to an unknown successor, as all circles close and begin again.